organized this little drawer unit in my office for quite some time now. I feel like there are certain drawers in here that are making my brain go, ah! The top drawer is where I have a lot of the gear that I use on a pretty regular basis with work, with what I do here on YouTube and on social media. So it's actually not in the worst spot. Acceptable is the word I would describe for it. So I'm not gonna focus here because we can't be wasting time on trying to achieve perfection when there is mediocreness happening below. The drawer below it that I feel like is the most uncomfortable for me because there are wires everywhere. We live in a world of wires and chargers and I don't know what this goes to. There's just so many of them. Then when you actually need the one you're looking for, it's a pain in the ass to find it. So I want to tackle this one next, and then the other drawers in this unit too that have more notebooks and houseware tools, that sort of thing. I do think I'm going to start off by just getting a lot of this out of the drawer to begin with, so I have a little bit more of a clean slate. That's a USB-C, so that's helpful. Oh yeah, see, this is what I mean. This is a charger exclusively for my water flosser. I have a whole thing that I need to keep just for my water flosser. Then there's a separate charger for my toothbrush. Then there's a separate charger for my phone. And then my e-reader. And then my laptop. And then my... I'm sure you are not unfamiliar with the cord madness. More cords. Oh my gosh. We even have exercise equipment in here. That's not good. Use those bands for squats. They are quite helpful. I'll have them linked down below. To the workout equipment this goes. This is where I'm at here. Cords are on my floor. This is pretty much empty now. I wiped it down, but it looks all streaky, so I'm gonna give it another wipe down. When it comes to cords, you definitely want to get rid of those chargers that are for devices that you no longer use and are very specific, but a lot of cords have very universal adapters. USB-C, HDMI, a lightning port, regular USB, you know, there's a lot of charging adapters that are very handy to have and you don't want to necessarily get rid of them. So I'm putting extras in this bin right here that usually goes in the unit behind me, because if there are things that I rarely need access to, then I don't want it taking up space in the more accessible areas of my home. I did put this extension cord in there because as handy as extension cords are, I rarely need one, so it's gonna go in this box right here because it's quite bulky. I'm also putting in very old hard drives I no longer use. This Canon battery charger for my older DSLR camera that I very rarely whip out, but you know, obviously I don't want to get rid of this, but I don't need it in precious real estate territory. Just like that, I now have a lot less to deal with. Look at that. As I'm placing things back, I'm just trying to group similar things together. This is where we're at with the drawer. I think it looks a lot better. I've got wireless headphones, wired headphones in that bag, a more recent hard drive and an extra camera, water flosser charger, my e-reader chargers, and then a ton of plug adapters and plug things all grouped together, and then batteries, of course. So it kind of has flow, even though it's not all like super precisely organized. I can see everything. I think that's the big key thing here. And just as a side note, these clear containers are from HomeSense. They were a really good price, and I feel like they're very flexible for many areas of your home. We're on to drawer 3. Take a note of the messy stationery cart that you're seeing in the background here. That is a project for another day. Oh yeah. If I'm being 100% honest with you, I don't see this drawer being a huge time-consuming task because it's essentially just this area that needs the most organizing. This section is all of my tools. So there's not really much work to do here except get rid of things that kind of cluttery like this. That wasn't even really organizing, that was more like just a tidy up. I've got my old bullet journals here and some of my thinner notebooks below that. I started filming that clip 5 minutes ago and so much progress. I feel less good about this drawer because in addition to being overrun by a lot of notebooks, these aren't just new notebooks that I've bought, these are notebooks that I've used that are filled out. These are notebooks that have been sent to me. I also had gotten into the habit of keeping shipping supplies in here, which does not belong here. So we need to find a new place for this stuff. Like this old bullet journal should go with the other old bullet journals. Oh, this might be the move. Okay, this is making me very excited. Sorting the notebooks like this was an incredible decision. I think up till this point, these are used notebooks and these are fresh, clean ones. But it just looks so easy to sort through. I can easily take them out. Look at that. And when I open and close the drawer, they stay like that. Oh, this is very exciting. Big fan. And then here I just have some more traditional notebooks, pads that I like to use, some smaller ones. This is actually one of my favorites. This was an agenda I bought in Portugal. And normally I would get rid of something like this because it's from 2018, 2019, but there's a ton of Portuguese dialogue and words in this. So it's something that I like to flip through, and it's a souvenir that I have from my trip. So holding on to it for a little bit longer. But that looks so much massively better. Excellent, excellent. Look at what we're dealing with here. We just are in a much better spot than before. You're not really getting the whole vibe right now. I don't know why the camera is making things look happier than it is, but it is a very gloomy day in the city today. When I'm having a gloomy day and feel like doing nothing, I feel like we should just tack on the grossness by sorting through some files. On the surface, my filing cabinet doesn't look horrible. You know, there's even folders within it that have labels on them. I think on the surface, like, it's passing for some sort of organization. I don't know why we're doing here. Okay, whatever. But in reality, I've gotten into a little bit of a habit lately of sticking things in there that I know I don't want to get rid of, but not properly sorting them. So that is what I'm doing today. Thankfully, the world has embraced digital paperwork, so my paper situation, things I need to hold on to, isn't by any means terrible, but it's still just a little bit that I have still stresses me out. I'm very glad to be a 97 baby at this time because I feel like I really dodged a bullet there. And we're gonna go through paperwork, maybe put on some music, get the vibes going so that I don't feel like wah wah wah. Time to grab the files. Right away, I'm going to just take one tiny file and sort through this rather than taking everything out of my cupboard, because that would just intimidate me. Anything that stays in here will stay in one pile, and anything that needs to be sorted elsewhere will go in another pile. The real tricky part about paperwork is you can sometimes find yourself going down a whole memory lane situation. Oh, that is important. Yep, that is important. Contract, outline, outline, outline. Contract. We have my contract folder, and look at that. I was left with a stack of things to recycle, one thing to resort, and receipts to look at. I'm gonna put this folder back into the filing cupboard and then take out the next one. So again, it keeps the mess to a minimum, because I just find that once things get really overwhelming and in front of you, it's hard to know where to focus your attention on, and I don't want to get distracted. I'm going down the rabbit hole of past tests I wrote in university. I don't know why I'm showing you this. This tells you nothing. I'm going over this microeconomic theory for commerce test I wrote that I got a 57% on, and this was a class that was one of the most difficult at Rotman for at least management students. And I remember being in this test just writing things down, not knowing anything that was happening, and the fact that I got a 57 was a huge W. This is all just letters, nothing else. No numbers are actually here except zeros. I'm not telling you how to do any of this now. Do I have an economics minor? Yes, just to prove that I wasn't completely incapable of getting a good grade. Okay, past tests. just reminding me that I am no longer as smart as my past self. Realistically, I could get rid of all of these, but I don't quite feel ready for that. Probably defeats every minimalist rule, but I feel like minimalism as a concept is really interesting and great to help guide you into not keeping things that really aren't adding anything to your life. But I also think extreme minimalism just is not my cup of tea. When I did my little stint as a lecturer at U of T, I would plan so aggressively for my lectures because it is crazy how you have to fill 2 hours worth of time. It's all fun and games until you're up there in charge of students, let me tell ya. Okay, look at us removing folders. These are some outlines or brainstorming sessions I did for different plan with me's. I have this one, I feel like this was, oh yeah, August. Again, I feel like I'm keeping this because I just find it really interesting, but that's probably not very helpful information for you. You're like, Caitlin, are you gonna get rid of anything? I don't know. Oh, this is not meant to be in this file. School it is.
Nearly twice the overall inflation rate.
That's one of those numbers, you know, it's just shockingly high. You know what I mean? Like just...
Oh, my body looks really weird right here. My legs look really tiny, my head looks really big. Here's our before. Things have gotten a little out of hand. I usually like to keep this area here pretty clear, but I've just gotten into the habit of keeping a lot of my Plan With Me supplies in the cart, where it really should go back to my unit over there with all my supplies. Let's take all these Tombos out, sort them back where they belong. Okay, so here we are. At the bottom, I've got my paper cutters from Cricut and for scars. A little trash can for when I'm planning and need to throw out scraps. Some cutting machine gear, some loose white cardstock, a refill for my glue tape, a calculator that I need to get a battery for. And then up top, I've kind of cleared it so that every time I do Plan With Me, I can add the stationery that I want to focus on for that month. But some of the base things I always have are like white Jelly Roll pens, some black pens. This is cleared for dual brush pens or markers, pencils, washi tape. These are the acrylograph markers from Archer and Olive. I'll have them linked below. You use my code, you get 10% off. And then this pencil case, I always have little erasers, glue tape, of course, glue, rulers at the back, my circle template, just the things that I use the most often. And then at the side here, I just have some stickers. Excellent, excellent. I want to start today off by tackling this upper part of my office. Don't really need to do much on the corkboard side of things. This corkboard, by the way, is, or not corkboard, pegboard is from IKEA. But I do want to just change the look up over here. One of the things I want to do is get rid of my essential oil stand. I don't want to display it here anymore. I feel like it needs to go somewhere else in the apartment. It's just been here on this ledge for years and I'm kind of over it. So it'll go somewhere else in the apartment. I also want to move the Alexa Show up onto the ledge because it's a photo frame device. And I feel like it'll just naturally look good on a photo ledge and also clear up space on my desk. And I don't know where else from there, but I think I am gonna start this project unlike some of the other ones by taking everything off and reassessing things. To be honest with you, I'm kind of over having my diploma even in this very university-esque frame. I kind of wish, looking back, that I hadn't gotten the frame and I just put my diploma into something a little bit more modern looking, because this frame isn't something that I would naturally buy. It looks very academic, don't get me wrong. I want to make a swap out, but you paid so much money for the frame that you don't want to do that either, so quite the dilemma here. But I don't think that's going to be something I change today. Maybe one day when I move, I'll swap out the frame that my diploma is in. Yeah, let's get going. Here's the situation we're working with here. I've got frames and stuff laid out. I think a key component is to put the diploma back here. I think that's the only place it makes sense on this ledge. I like the way these two look together. I need to add something to this frame, but this frame right here has a sheet of paper that my grandfather on the recent trip my grandparents made to Canada, he wrote out for me to try and teach me how to count in Portuguese and say certain things, and I just thought it was too cute not to keep. That's the vibe there. Oh, the play button needs to go somewhere too. That's also something that needs to be prioritized. I think height needs to happen here. I'm gonna say that it probably makes sense to do these two like that. If I do the frame here, do that maybe, to make it look more overlappy. This guy of coffee cups in the city with the play button, or play button and then coffee cups in the city, or trio these, no, or in the back, seems like a lot. Play button, calendar with gallo, and plant squishy. I think that kind of works. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong. Would it be better if this were a Portugal print instead of the coffee cups? Which one do I choose is the real question. I think we're gonna go with this one. I'll return shortly to figure this out. I think the fake plant at the top right of the shelf ended up adding a nice touch. And although it is not perfect, I think having less stuff up there is a huge win for me. Normally we'd go into the rest of the drawers. You saw me do the filing cabinet, but these drawers are actually in pretty decent shape. Like, yeah, that one could be a little bit better organized, but this one, nothing much to do here. I've got all my sticky notes, some glue, more sticky notes. This is the package you put old ink into and you can send it back to the ink company and they'll properly dispose of it. Up top, I've got just random things. These are for stamps, ink for my fountain pen, cloth for cleaning screens, nothing crazy. And then on the left side of the desk, I actually had done, if you follow me on Instagram, a partnership with Staples Canada where we kind of revamped this area. I love this pop-in file folder situation and this little silicone tray. And I also tackled this top drawer, which I think looks spectacular. All of these are pop-in trays. I feel like a white tray just makes it look so clean. Below that, I have some beauty stuff, hair tools, and it's more beauty skincare things. Not ideal, but as you guys know, I just don't have much storage for that stuff in my apartment. My bathroom doesn't have a lot of that kind of storage, so this is what ends up happening. Please also take note that when it comes to this desk area, it looks like I have no wires down here. In the last 6 months, I installed a little rack that contains all of the messiness to a non-eye level POV. Definitely still looks like a mess. I could do a better job of making it a little less crazy, but what matters is what you don't see, which is that mess on the floor. Also makes vacuuming a lot easier. We do need to do, though, this section right here. Top shelf, not so much. This, absolutely. This area honestly just needs a dusting, but it's this shelf in particular that kind of makes me go crazy. You guys ever like have a hard time getting rid of boxes, good quality boxes? This is the box that my laptop came in. As you know, Apple boxes just tend to be very high quality. What would I do with this? I don't know, but it's hard for me to give them up. These are Animal Crossing socks that were sent to me. What are they doing in a drawer or in a cupboard? Nothing. Let's get them out. Are these knee highs or what's the dealio? Oh, look at that. Glad I am opening these right after winter has finished. These will definitely be comfy for summer. More notebooks. Gotta put those away. These are materials for my Cricut, so I don't want to get rid of them. Oh, you know what? This would probably be better. Oh. No. Bad rules. Oh, I know. What? Let's make it color coordinated, maybe. This is the container with the extra gear. This is a ton of scrap paper. Oof. Okay, I'm gonna put these in my extra supplies bin. This is sticker paper, so I don't want to lose that. I'll put that there. As unfortunate as this bag looks, I don't think I can get rid of any of these, so I think we're gonna have to keep it in this bag. But maybe this where it goes like that. Oh, that looks so much better. That looks way cleaner than it did before. Okay, I'm gonna call this a pass. I'm very thankful that this is the kind of stuff that I can hide though behind a door, because although it is organized in the sense that I can see everything, that's awesome, but especially the stationery, it has a very cluttery look, and I have grown to just want more clean lines. This is how you do it. Ugh. Looks even better. This side of the unit hasn't changed much since you've probably last seen it. Toolkit, paper, boxes with extra stuff and chargers. And then up top is where I have like my camera gear, microphone, some other stuff. Tech cases, my easy press mat, my easy press, and some cutting machine tools. But I just gave it a quick dust and that's all it really needed. I feel like that's something important to highlight, is that organization doesn't always have to look matchy, you know? It's not always this kind of stuff. Sometimes it's just putting things where they should be or where it makes sense. And you know what? It doesn't have to be super beautiful because it's behind a door. You gotta pick your battles, you know? I do want to tackle this bookshelf because there are changes I want to make to this area of my office, but I think organizing my book collection is going to be an entirely other separate video, so stay tuned for that. I think that'll be a really fun one because then we can really deep dive into book organization and book talk and make it a nice whole literature package.